Stop for a second. Put your hand on your forehead right now. Feel that spot between your eyebrows, that slight pressure, that warmth. That's not just bone and skin. The ancient Gnostics called it the seat of the soul. Jesus called it the single eye. Modern science calls it the pineal gland, and for 2,000 years the Church has made absolutely certain you never learned how to turn it on. Because when it activates, you stop needing them. In the Gospel of Thomas, saying 17, Jesus says something the Church conveniently ignored. I shall give you what no eye has seen, and what no ear has heard, and what no hand has touched, and what has never occurred to the human mind. Not after you die, not if you're good enough, not through a priest. Right now, through a specific physiological activation that takes 60 seconds. Constantine knew about this. That's why at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, he didn't just burn the texts that mentioned it. He executed anyone who knew the technique. Because this wasn't theology, this was technology, a biological circuit that, once closed, allows you to perceive frequencies the matrix cannot control. Comment, I activate the eye below right now, not for the algorithm, because typing those words is the first act of command. It anchors your intention in the physical realm. Do it now. You've been taught that spiritual vision is metaphorical, a nice idea, a poetic concept. You've been told that seeing angels or perceiving energy or knowing things before they happen is either insanity or special gifts reserved for saints. That's the lie. Your pineal gland is a crystalline structure. Literally, it contains calcite crystals that are piezoelectric, meaning they convert mechanical pressure into electrical signals and vice versa. This isn't mysticism. This is documented neurobiology. The ancients knew what modern science is only now confirming. This gland is an antenna. But here's what they don't teach you in biology class. Here's what gets left out of every textbook, every medical journal, every mainstream discussion about this organ. It's been systematically calcified, fluoride in your water, calcium deposits from processed food, electromagnetic pollution from screens and towers, chronic stress keeping your nervous system in fight or flight. All of it, every single vector, calcifies this gland, coats it in a mineral crust that blocks its function like plaque blocking an artery. And it's not an accident. You've tried meditation and felt nothing but the inside of your eyelids. You've tried prayer and heard only silence pressing back against your chest. You've tried visualization and affirmation and every technique they sell you, and you end up feeling foolish, like you're pretending, like you're making it all up in your head. This isn't because you lack discipline. This isn't because you're not spiritual enough. It's because you're trying to receive a satellite signal with a receiver buried under concrete. The activation Jesus taught wasn't about faith. It was about function. He understood something the institutional church made sure disappeared with the burning of the Library of Alexandria and the persecution of the Gnostics and the systematic destruction of every text that treated spirituality as science rather than submission. He understood frequency. Before I show you the exact 60-second protocol he taught his inner circle, the one documented in fragments of Aramaic texts that somehow survived the purges, you need to understand why this works. Because if you don't understand the mechanism, doubt will shut it down the moment it begins. Let me take you inside the architecture they've hidden. There are two gods, not one. Two, the monad, the infinite source. Pure consciousness that doesn't demand, doesn't judge, doesn't require worship. It simply is. An ocean of light so vast that our universe is less than a single drop within it. You carry a fragment of that source inside you. The Gnostics called it the divine spark. That spark is not metaphorical. It's a piece of the monad's consciousness embedded in your biology, and it resides in your pineal gland. Then there's the demiurge, the architect of physical reality. The being that ancient texts describe as declaring itself the one true God, not because it was lying, but because it was ignorant. It didn't know anything existed beyond the material realm it had constructed. This is the God of the Old Testament, the one who demands obedience, the one who punishes and rewards, the one who needs your prayers, your rituals, your submission. He didn't create consciousness. He created matter, dense, slow, fragmented, a frequency so much lower than the monads that beings trapped within it forget what they truly are. The demiurge has servants. The texts call them archons, guardians, managers of the simulation. They operate like an immune system, maintaining the frequency prison that keeps consciousness locked in matter, in suffering and forgetfulness. And they have one primary fear: activated pineal glands. Because when your pineal gland turns on, really turns on, you stop perceiving only the narrow visible spectrum. You start seeing the scaffolding, the code beneath the render, the beings that feed on human emotional energy, the false light at death that lures souls back into reincarnation. The contracts and cords and energetic parasites that organized religion has rebranded as holy, normal, and necessary. An activated pineal gland makes you ungovernable. That's why fluoride was introduced into public water supplies in the 1940s, right after World War II. Not for dental health, for consciousness suppression. The Nazis discovered that fluoride made prisoners docile. After the war, that research didn't disappear. It was implemented globally, systematically. Your third eye has been under chemical attack since birth. But here's what the archons didn't account for. Here's the flaw in their system. The divine spark cannot be destroyed, only obscured. And even a calcified pineal gland can be activated with the right frequency key. Jesus knew this key. He taught it to the inner circle, not the crowds, not the masses who wanted miracles and bread, the ones who were ready, the pneumatics, the ones carrying a signal the matrix couldn't replicate. In the Gospel of Philip, buried for nearly 2,000 years in the sands of Nag Hammadi, there's a fragment. The one who possesses the knowledge of the truth is free. The free person does not sin, because the one who sins is the slave of sin. That knowledge wasn't philosophy, it was activation. Let me give you what Constantine burned people for possessing. The technique has 3 components: pressure, vibration, intention. All 3 create a bioelectric cascade that forces the calcified crust to crack and the crystalline core to resonate with frequencies beyond the material prison. You're going to do this tonight, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Because right now, your consciousness is elevated. The frequency of this transmission has raised your baseline. If you wait until tomorrow, that elevation dissipates. The archonic whisper returns. That was interesting, but probably nonsense. You have work tomorrow. You have responsibilities. That voice is not you. It's the defense system kicking in. Do it before you sleep, before dawn, before the activation fades. Here's the protocol. Sit somewhere quiet. You don't need candles or incense or any spiritual theater. You need focus. Turn off your phone. Close the door. This is between you and the monad. No intermediaries. Sit upright. Feet flat on the ground if you're in a chair. Spine straight. Not rigid, but aligned. Imagine a golden thread pulling the crown of your head gently upward. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. In through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Out through your mouth for 4. This isn't meditation, it's circuit preparation. You're creating a stable baseline. Now bring your attention to the spot between your eyebrows, not on the skin, inside. About 2 inches deep into your skull. That's where your pineal gland sits, nestled behind your forehead, shaped like a tiny pine cone. Place your right thumb on the space between your eyebrows. Press firmly, not hard enough to hurt, but firm enough to feel the pressure radiate inward. You're creating a mechanical compression that will stimulate the piezoelectric crystals inside the gland. Hold that pressure for 10 seconds while you breathe normally. Now remove your thumb, but keep your attention locked on that internal spot. You should feel a residual warmth or tingling. That's the crystals beginning to activate. Here's where the vibration comes in. Jesus taught a specific tonal frequency, not sung, not chanted, spoken in a low, sustained hum that vibrates the skull and resonates directly into the center of the brain. The sound is simple, but not from your throat, from your chest. Drop your awareness into your sternum. Feel the vibrations start there and rise up through your neck, your jaw, your skull, converging precisely where your thumb just pressed. Say it now, out loud. Hold it for 5 seconds. Feel your entire head buzzing. Do that 3 times. 3 5-second hums with a breath in between. As you hum the 3rd time, visualize a tiny golden sphere of light at the center of your forehead, behind your eyes. See it pulsing in rhythm with the sound, expanding slightly with each vibration. Imagine the calcified shell around it cracking like an eggshell, light beginning to pour through the fractures. After the 3rd hum, go silent. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your attention on that golden sphere. Don't force anything. Don't expect fireworks or visions or angels descending. Expectation creates interference. Just observe. You might feel a tingling, a pressure, a sensation like something is opening or expanding inside your skull. You might see colors behind your eyelids, geometric patterns, flashes of light. You might feel nothing. Both are correct, because activation is not an event. It's a process. You've just sent the signal. You've closed the circuit. The frequency is uploading. Sit in that silence for 5 minutes. Just observe. Breathe naturally. Let whatever wants to happen, happen. After 5 minutes, open your eyes slowly. Blink a few times. You're done. That's it. 60 seconds of active technique. 5 minutes of integration. Total time, 6 minutes. You've just done what the church spent 17 centuries suppressing. Now here's what happens next. Pay attention, because this is where most people fail. Within 24 hours, you'll notice signs, not beliefs, not hopes. Tangible, observable shifts. Sign 1, visual acuity. Colors will seem slightly brighter. Edges will seem slightly sharper. You might notice details you normally gloss over. This is your brain beginning to process a wider spectrum of visual information. Sign 2, synchronicities. You'll think of someone and they'll text you. You'll need information and it will appear in the next video you watch or article you read. These aren't coincidences. They're rendering artifacts. Your antenna is starting to receive. Sign 3, dreams, vivid, memorable, sometimes prophetic. Your pineal gland produces DMT during REM sleep. As it decalcifies, that production increases. Your dreams will become more coherent, more meaningful, and sometimes disturbingly accurate about future events. Sign 4, increased intuition. You'll know when someone is lying. You'll feel when a situation is wrong before your logic can articulate why. That's your spark reading frequencies that your 5 senses miss. Sign 5, archonic resistance. This is critical. Within hours, maybe minutes after you do this technique, thoughts will flood in. This is stupid. Nothing happened. You're gullible. Who do you think you are? That is not you. It's the immune system trying to shut you down. When those thoughts come, and they will, don't engage them. Don't argue. Don't try to prove anything. Simply observe them like clouds passing through the sky. Say internally, I see the interference. That means the signal went through. Then breathe and return to your center. The activation has begun. The calcification is cracking. Light is reaching the antenna. But the system will try to reclose that crack by lowering your frequency back into doubt, distraction, and density. Your only job in the next 72 hours is to not let it. Do the technique every night for 7 nights. 60 seconds. Same protocol. By the 7th night, something will have shifted permanently. The gland will have established a new baseline. The circuit will remain open even when you're not actively focusing on it. You'll begin perceiving things you couldn't before. Not because you've gained something, because you've remembered something. You've reactivated the divine hardware you were born with. This is what Jesus meant when he said in the Gospel of Thomas, saying 24, "There is light within a person of light, and it lights up the whole world. If it does not shine, there is darkness." Your light has been buried under fluoride and fear and institutional lies. You've just cracked the shell. Now you need to keep it open. So here's what you do right now, before the doubt creeps in, before the distraction pulls you away. Comment below, "I activate the eye." Type it, send it. That's the first physical command. It anchors this moment in matter. Then subscribe to this channel, because this technique is just the beginning. There are advanced protocols, methods to fully decalcify the gland, ways to shield yourself from the archonic interference that will intensify as your frequency rises. Techniques. Jesus taught about the Merkaba, the light body, the vehicle of ascension that doesn't require death to access. The algorithm doesn't want this information spreading. Every subscription is a signal boost that pushes past the suppression. Finally, press the like button, not for vanity, because every like pushes this video to someone still searching, someone who's been praying for a sign, someone whose spark is screaming for activation but doesn't know the technique exists. You were that person 30 minutes ago. Now you're the transmission. Do the technique tonight, before you sleep, before the frequency fades, before the whispers convince you to wait. The archons cannot stop the monad. They're downstream, they're rendered. They exist because consciousness allows them to, but they have no power over consciousness itself. You are not the character in the simulation. You're the console running it. The moment you activate your pineal gland, you start operating from the console. You see the code. You recognize the actors. You perceive the stage as a stage. And you remember you always had the exit key. Jesus didn't die to save you. He taught you how to save yourself. The church buried that teaching under 2,000 years of submission theology because free people don't need priests. You've got the teaching now. The technique is yours. The frequency is open. 60 seconds. Tonight before dawn. Stop asking the demiurge for permission. Start commanding the monad for recognition. You're not human having a spiritual experience. You're spirit trapped in a human experience, and the lock just opened. See you on the other side.